Hey folks, I'm Mike. Do you hate ads? I hate ads. You know what I like? Patreon.com/Inkdependence. It keeps this blog ad-free. Hello folks, welcome to Inkdependence.com. I'm Mike, and we're here to look at the Schon Design Pocket 6. This is the new fountain pen, which was sweeping the DC pen show. In fact, I have two of them to show off because one is Audrey's, and she let me keep it for a little bit so I can do this review. They are, of course, these are the same, just different paint jobs, and wild and crazy paint jobs these are. You can get these in several different kinds of colors. Obviously, Audrey went with a purple and yellow and teal and like violet, and I mean it's got a little bit of the silver aluminum showing through. This is some cosmic action right here. Mine, I went for something a little more watery. I don't know, this one was just really calling to me. I've got good spaces of, like some negative silver space here. I've got this like sort of pockmarked watery blue going on here. I like the look of this thing. So let's take a look at this pen, talk a little bit about features and what you can expect, because this pen actually goes live on August 20th on Schon Design's website, at 7 a.m. So, and I don't know how many he's going to have. So if you like the look of this thing, you're like, I got to get my hands on one of those. This is the time to do it. Don't wait too long, because they'll be gone, man. I waited pretty long to get this. We didn't get ours until Sunday, so I'm sure there are lots of other cool designs floating around out there. You can find them in other reviews and all that sort of thing. But and maybe you'll find some at the San Francisco Pen Show. I've heard rumors there might be somebody selling them, so check them out there, or come and ask me and I'll know by then if you're at San Francisco. So this is the Pocket 6. As you can see, this is a small pen, and it is reminiscent of his original Schon Design ballpoint pen. Of course, this is a fountain pen, so don't click away yet. At the top, you'll see it is subtly domed. It has a nice dome there. The rest of the body is straight, cylindrical. At the end, you'll see this end here is flat, and it has screw threads because this is a screw-to-post pen. And look, I'm not the biggest fan of screw-to-post pens, but with Schon's pens, this actually works really well. It's like one turn to put it on there, and it's rock solid. You'll see at the middle, you actually have two little lines, and he did this sort of to balance the pen, to like give it a waist, because the bottom one is actually where it separates. So this pen is made of aluminum and then anodized. He's got a couple of anodizers. He makes all these in his shop. You can see videos and that sort of thing up on his Instagram of him, how it gets made and all that sort of jazz. And then he sends it out to get anodized at a couple of shops also in the USA. So this is an all USA pen, if that's a thing that's important to you. You can unscrew this thing. It is a very nice, smooth unscrew. And that is because it has, if you can see in here, a little black O-ring. He says this does work perfectly well without the O-ring, but he just likes the way it feels with it. He's made a little tool that allows you to more easily insert and extract that O-ring if you like. If you don't want it in there, I didn't bother. I actually like the feel just fine. This cap by itself is very, very light. In fact, this whole pen is very light. It's one of the things I noticed about it immediately. Also, it's very short. If you look at it unposted, this thing is 86.8 millimeters. That's about 3.4 inches. So fairly shorter than the original ballpoint version of this pen. Capped, it's about 3.5 inches. Posted, it actually goes up to 5.5-ish. Well, 5.2. So pretty close, 5.25. And for me, this is a very comfortable pen size. The diameter of the section here, which is metal, but is also, as you can see, nicely curved with a good saddle on it. That section diameter is 8.8 to 10 millimeters, which is kind of my preferred size. I don't have any problem here. The 8.8 is the same as it is on the that is the small area here, same as it is on his ballpoint pen. I'll have a review for that up very soon. The nib here, as you'll notice, is quite large in relation to the pen. And that's because it's a number 6. So this is a Pocket 6 because, hey, it's got a number 6 nib. Now, this first version is using Bach nibs. I am not the biggest fan of Bach nibs, although I gotta say, I've got like 4 or 5 pens here in front of me with Bach nibs, and I've grown to be fine with them. They need a little bit of tuning, generally for me, just to get it the way I like it to write, but lots of people like these Bach nibs, and he also says he's going to start making sections that you can inexpensively exclusively buy from him, which will accommodate Yovo units, which are the same ones used in like in Franklin-Christophs and Edison's and all those sorts of things. So if you have a bunch of number 6 Yovos, soon you'll be able to put them in these pens. So that's pretty cool. You can also get sections that are made out of different things. Audrey and I, let's see, what color is hers? I think hers is also silver. We both went for silver aluminum. We think that looks pretty good with the pens that we chose. You can also get them in black. He has some in brass, that sort of thing. And the brass one does give a good amount of weight right here at the fingers, and I think that's pretty cool. But I just went with this silver aluminum. I think it looks really nice. It's a little bit on the tumbled side, I suppose. There you go. And so that's pretty much. Oh, I didn't open the pen. This is gonna be, and this is like one of the only cons of this pen, is that this is a cartridge only pen. You're not really gonna put a converter in this thing. Even the small converters don't really work well. We tried some and they compress, like the Monteverde one that has the piston, but it just compresses so that you have just a couple drops of ink left. It's not worth it. Just get cartridges or refill cartridges. This is the one that came with the pen. This is Diamine Orange. He was using Diamine at the show, and these are darn good cartridges. I got an orange one. Audrey got I think it's Imperial Purple or something of that nature to go with the pen. It looks nice, but just a cartridge pen. You're not going to want to eyedropper this because it is metal on metal with metal threads, and it's just not a good idea. There could be some reactivity between the aluminum and your ink. All right, let's compare this to a bunch of other pens and then do a little writing sample, and that'll be it. Okay, so here are a bunch of pens in comparison. These are all mostly pocket pens. This is the Sailor Pro Gear, the regular full-size Pro Gear, which to me is on the almost pockety size, so I threw that in as well. Also, we have the Franklin-Christoph Pocket 66, the Pilot MYU, the Franklin-Christoph Pocket 45, the Kaweco Sport, which is a classic pocket pen, the Schon Design Ballpoint, because when we're talking about Schon Design, we got to show the ballpoint. This is the Pocket 6 from Schon, and then this is the Lamy Pico, which is another great little pocket pen. There's a little guy. Shunk. Cool. All right. So, as you can see, this is a very small pen. So here's my other con with this pen, is that it feels quite light. It is half of an ounce. That is the weight, 0.5 ounces. And I was like, wow, that seems like it's really light. And then I started looking at other weights for pens, and things like, the Safari is also 0.5 ounces. But it's so much bigger. So here's my only real con about this pen is that it's very small and very light, and I am constantly worried that it's fallen out of my pocket. It's totally there. It's not going anywhere, but I always feel like it's going to disappear. So if I had to pick a con, the con is that it's small and it's light and it doesn't have a clip. But honestly, there's no place to put a clip in here because of how small it is. He'd have to make it longer to put a clip in, I think. Because you've got this sort of hollow area in here. You can actually see all the way to the bottom. Yep, in there. And this big number 6 nib takes up that space. So if you put a clip in there, a clip's got to screw into something, and then those screw threads could hit your nib. That's no good. Maybe you could do something that clips on the outside, but I don't know. I think the aesthetic of this is actually really nice. So that's my con, but also I don't know how to fix it or if I care about getting it fixed, honestly. All right, so closed, it's very small. It's the same size basically as the Pico. It's actually slightly shorter than the Lamy Pico, which is a pretty short little pen, right? So let's open up these pens and show them posted. Okay, so when you open these guys up, you can see that the Schon Pocket 6 here is on par with the other pocket pens that we've got. So it's almost as long as the Pocket 66 and the 45 and the Mew. It's almost exactly the same length as the Kaweco, but here's the thing to notice about these. When you write with the Kaweco, I find that nib to be just teeny tiny. Look at how small these nibs are. This nib is in comparison. So this is a full-size real pen number 6 nib, and this is a little tiny number 5 nib. Same nib in here, basically. And so if you like the size of a Kaweco Sport and the portability of a Kaweco Sport, but you want to have something that has a real regular size nib that you can switch into all the rest of your small maker pens, Man, the Pocket 6 is real good. It is quite a bit more expensive than the plastic Kaweco, but it's not really any more expensive than the aluminum ones or certainly brass ones or any of that jazz. So let's talk price a little bit. This was $108 at the pen show. So I mean, we bought them. These are our pens. These weren't given for review. I didn't even tell Ian I was going to review it. So hey, if you stuck around this long and you're thinking, hey, I ought to get one of these Pocket 6s, what you ought to do is go and when you buy it, put a little comment on there that tells Ian where you heard about this thing. Tell him you heard about it from Mike Madison at Inkdependence, and that's cool. Like, it won't get you anything, but it does let them know that hey, people are out there talking about them, and that's fun for everybody. All right. So as far as lengths, this is a perfectly good length for writing with. It gives you a nice distance from the page. And this is the way I think about number 5 and number 6 nibs. A lot of the time, when you have a number 6 nib, you are at for me, a much more comfortable distance from the page. When you're at with a number 5 nib, you're like right on the page there. Like, I'm scraping the paper with my fingers just because I'm so close to this thing. Number 6 nib, I think that's a good upgrade. All right, let's do a little writing sample right quick. All right, this is the Schon design. I'm going to zoom in for you. Schon design, Pocket 6. With Diamine Orange. I haven't had any problems with this nib. I actually handed it to Audrey and actually asked her to just tune it up for me as soon as I got it, and she did, and then she ground hers to a fancy nib because that's what Audrey does. But this is just regular round pen. I actually enjoy having a regular round nib tipping for a pocket pen, because usually when I'm using a pocket pen, I'm just like getting it out. I'm gonna jot some notes. And I don't want to be fancy about it. I don't want to think about how I'm rotating or turning or angling a pen. And if I put like an italic or something on this, I got to worry about that. If this is just a regular round nib, it doesn't matter. It's very forgiving. So there you go. These are currently, as far as I know, not going to be offered with any kind of grinds on them. And I'm not sure what he's doing in terms of tuning. I know that in the future he's going to be working with nib professionals to tune these guys up to awesome spec. But this one, I think, needed a little bit of tuning. But look, I'm very picky about Bach nibs. They feel weird to me sometimes. But, whatever. That's very personal taste. Okay, so as I said, this one was $108 at the pen show. I believe they're going to be retailing for $114 for the aluminum ones. And I imagine the ones, he's going to have some that are brass and that sort of thing, and that's going to add a few bucks. But at the low hundred, like just 100 and change, basically, I think this is a perfectly good price for this pen. It's right in the same range as like the Franklin-Christoph Pocket 45s, which everybody loves, and it's actually not that far from the Pocket 66s if you can get these. These are actually kind of special make only now. But yeah, the Schon design number 6 Pocket 6 pen is pretty great. I think you ought to check it out. I will see y'all later. Tell Ian where you heard about this, and peace out.